Bethany here. Welcome to our Millwall fan show with some new voices, but the same focus. Just everything Millwall. Enjoy!
Welcome to the 2023-24 series of Millwall No One Likes Us Talkings, our Millwall fan show. I'm your host, Myles Thornton. Yep, you heard that right, Myles Thornton. I ain't giving up. And with me, I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Bethany Dave Hart and Stan Godwin.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
So, it was a 3-2 loss down the Den on Saturday, and we're out of the FA Cup in the third round for the third year running. Bethany, what did you make of the game?
Well, at the end of the day, any loss is frustrating, and obviously being the FA Cup, we had a really good run a few years ago, especially against Leicester. However, I do think we played so incredibly well, and it just shows exactly how we played, that, the team were cheered and clapped off the pitch. But for me, I think because of the position that we're in the league, and I would never usually say this, however, I really do think that it's good that we can now just focus on the league and building on what we've started to since Joe Edwards has come in. So while we're not in the FA Cup, and it is sad and it is frustrating, we've still got the league, so I can't complain too much.
Yeah, exactly. I'd much prefer, to be honest, to be out of the FA Cup and stay up in the league and just have that fitness of the players, because the more games congestion that we get, it affects the players so much, and some of our players are really injury prone, and that's why I'm not glad we're out the FA Cup, but just glad we can focus on the league now. Dave, what effect do you think parachute payments have on teams? Because Leicester are about to sign from Inter Milan. I mean, it's getting ridiculous now.
Yeah, the parachute payments are they're just ridiculous, because the 3 years at 16 million a year, I think it is, that's a total of 48 million over 3 years. That's a real big boost to any club. I mean, if you look at the average lot of money that on an ordinary club, like such as Millwall, that's in the league, you could never keep up with that. And it's the fair play doesn't really come into it because of the parachute payment.
Yeah, I think most of the other clubs with parachute payments, other clubs in the league that maybe haven't been in the Premier League like ourselves, would be at a disadvantage, because the parachute payments, they're making that money so they can spend it. With FFP, if Millwall went out and spent 8 million of James Berylson's money, we'd get done for FFP, and Manchester City didn't get done for it. They should have been, but they didn't. But we would, and that's why we can't get Creswell for 4 million. Even one player for £4 million, it's not going to happen. Stan, what are your thoughts on the loss to Leicester?
Well, let me start with this, right? I mean, Bethany said about, she'd rather be out of the FA Cup, knowing our position in the league and whatever, right? Okay. Last year, in the third round, we played Sheffield United, and Sheffield United at that point were around the top of the division, right? And they were seeking promotion. And they went right through to the end of the season. They got to the semi-final of the FA Cup, and they also got promoted in second spot. So I do not subscribe to this view that somehow that the FA Cup's a distraction and all this stuff, right? As I've said before, we've got Joe Edwards now, but it don't matter who it is who's the manager. His main function is to win football matches. If you're winning football matches and it becomes routine, your confidence is up and whatever. So for me, I'm disappointed we're out of the FA Cup, because, as I say, I don't subscribe to this theory about, it don't count. Because when it was the old First Division, you never heard people turn around and say then it didn't count. But anyway, but getting back to the actual game, I was well happy. I mean, not when I say well happy, I don't mean I'm happy that we lose. But to be fair, I thought we played well. It was a game of football that I've thoroughly enjoyed. I mean, I've said all the time, as each week goes by, we get better and better in the new way that Joe Edwards wants to play, which was right up my street. So no, it was a very good game. Disappointing, we was a bit unlucky, but we go on. But and one of the other things I have to say is that I didn't hear anybody in the ground or afterwards complaining about the way we played. I didn't hear people going on about, well, we're playing too many at the back and all this nonsense. And, I never heard any of that, right? So, and I haven't heard any of that since we've, started to progress. So, no, I honestly think I've always thought that we were never going to be in any danger of relegation at all anyway. And I still think that's the case. And and let's see. My view is let's see how many football matches we can win, and then see where it takes us. And if it gets us into the playoffs, fine. If it don't, well, okay, it's not the end of the world. That's my view.
Exactly, Stan. Exactly. Danny McNamara at a new position. He's playing in right centre back. Dave, what did you make of it, mate? Because I personally thought he was really good, as well as the rest of the team. But I thought he was really good.
Yeah, he had a good game. I think everybody had a good game. To be honest, and I think that if the board fell right for us, we could have had a result. But just picking up on what Bethany and Stan has said. Over the years, I've seen Millwall have some great cup runs, and giant killing, as it was known as them, was a regular thing at the old Den. So, it's one of those things especially when the team sort of comes together and gels. You wonder what could have happened.
We'll take a break there and hear about our sponsor, G&M Motors.
Hi, this is Jess Tuffield from G&M Motors. Operating from a modern and purpose-built facility in Milton Road, Gravesend, G&M Motors offers a complete range of new Honda cars and services. As well as new Hondas, we have an extensive range of used cars, including ex-Motability cars from a variety of manufacturers. Specialising in new Honda cars, G&M Motors has been retailing quality new and used vehicles to the people of Kent and South East London for over 4 decades. We have been a Honda dealership since 1972 and are the country's longest serving supplier of this renowned marque. Conveniently sited just 2 miles from the A2, 10 miles from the M25 and Dartford Crossing, visitors to our showroom are assured a warm welcome from our experienced and friendly staff. Our facilities include an on-site workshop capable of providing full vehicle servicing and repairs, as well as an extensive parts department offering genuine Honda parts and accessories. The expertise of our skilled mechanics is not limited to just Hondas, but extends to most makes and models of motor vehicles. Whatever your motoring needs, visit us at G&M Motors today. The newly extended hours of our G&M headquarters means that you can contact us from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. on Saturdays. To contact us, call us today on 01474 365 026.
Thank you, Jess. Debbie Julian's here. Don't forget to call Jess on 01474 365 026. G&M Motors have been dear friends of the Julians family for over 4 decades now. From my dad Lenny to me, Debbie, Lions together.
Our first guest today was born in Dublin in August 1982. He started his career playing for Millwall's Youth Academy, where he joined at the age of 10, before signing a professional contract in March 2000. He made his first team debut on the 19th of March 2002 against Sheffield United. He was awarded Player of the Year at the end of the 2009-10 season. He made over 400 appearances for the Lions and left in 2015 after a magnificent 23 years at the club. He joined Leyton Orient then, following his release by Millwall. In 2017, he moved to Bromley, where he retired and now holds the assistant manager role as an assistant to Andy Woodman. Welcome to the show, Alan Dunne.
Good evening.
Alan.
Evening, Alan.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, and you, mate.
Yeah.
So, before I pass you over to the team, Alan, you're doing very well at the minute and currently sit second in the National League. You're unbeaten in 8 games. How are you finding it down at Bromley? Is it EFL time for the Ravens?
Well, we never thought, back in August that we would be having the season we were having. I mean, playoffs last year, we got to the semi-final of the playoffs. I mean, our target this year was to finish in the top 3. To be second at the midway point is remarkable for a club of our size. EFL is our aim. That is our ultimate aim, and yeah, we're hoping this year can be our year in a tough national league. But we've still got 20 games left. We put ourselves in a really strong position to try and finish the season strong.
Hi, Alan. It's Bethany here. It's an absolute pleasure to speak to you today.
Hello, Bethany.
Hi. So, Millwall's Chin Okoli went to Bromley at the start of the season on loan until this month, but he's now returned back to the Den. So, how much of an impact did he have on the team?
Yeah, Chin was someone we monitored for. I go and see a lot of 23 games. Obviously, could play with Robbo when he's there. We go and watch a lot of the 23 games, and he's someone I see play when we took Bez Topper lad. He's someone we've been monitoring. And we've got a really good previous loans we've taken relationship with Mill. But look, Chin was someone we highlighted last year. He went out to Torquay. He wasn't ready, still a bit young, but he came into us and he's really grown into that position. He's had Webster alongside him, which has really helped him. Myself as a defender, and he's a lad has got great tools and great attributes, and to go far in the game. So he had a bad injury, so he's gone back through injury, not through. We had him for the season on loan. But he had an injury, so he's gone back. We're hoping to have him when he comes back from injury, but I think he's about 6 weeks to 8 weeks away. Very talented lad, real Millwall, robust, resilient, big, strong centre half, but yeah, he's still learning the game.
Great.
Hi, Alan. It's Dave here.
Hi, Dave.
Always good to talk to you, mate. One of my all-time favourites at the Den. But I'm going to take us back to our cup final in 2004, where you was an unused substitute. And I know we lost the final, but we qualified for Europe as Manchester United, who beat us at qualified for the European Championship. So we took the prize as runners-up, which is usually given to the FA Cup winners. Yeah. So the next season we played both home and away to Hungarian side Ferencváros in the UEFA Cup. Can you tell us the story behind those games? And I'd like to ask you how it felt to be part of two such really special days in the club's history, and in particular that second leg in Budapest when you was on the bench.
Well, 2004. Yeah, that's how quick time's gone. Well, look, that was a season where we were doing really well in the Championship that year. We probably would have went up if it weren't for that FA Cup. I'm sure we were such a strong position. I think we ended up getting to the FA Cup, and I think players didn't want to get booked once they got in the final. Remember, we fell off a little bit in the league form.
That's right.
But like you said, look, that Man United team was one of the greatest teams that's ever played in the Prem, and we just sort of caught them on a bad day. I was unlucky not to play in that game. Obviously, I was playing all week, and then I think Dennis Wise went out to Italy and had an injection in his knee, which allowed him to play a certain amount of the game. And I was open to come on after half an hour. I think we was 3-0 down after half an hour, so there was no point in me bringing me on after that. But it did, like you said, it did qualify us to go to Europe, and what an experience. I mean, the home game, I think it went well, the home game. We thought we'd be okay on the return leg. But when we went out to Hungary, I mean, talk about hostile atmosphere. I've never seen anything like it. The atmosphere, I think a few of our boys froze in it. It was really hostile game. You caged in. I don't know if you remember. There was like literally we're warming up where the away fans are, and you're literally caged in. And they were throwing.
Yeah, that's right.
They were throwing darts at us, warming up. I wanted to get on the. I was like, get me on the pitch, because it was probably the safest place you could have been. I think on the night, look, great experience and great to be part of a squad, because that team and squad was all about under Wisey. We weren't the most talented players. What a team spirit! What a group we had, and I think that come from Wisey and Ray. We won games with the spirit of the team, togetherness. Everyone played for each other. There was one big team, And Wisey was great at that. He was great at getting that, galvanising that team spirit. He had it at Wimbledon. So he brought that to us. And look, what a season. Who would have ever thought Millwall would get a chance to go and play in a UEFA game to qualify? So it just shows that you can never write Millwall off in the cup. We've had great success in the cup over the years. Even watching Wigan play the other day, Man United, we had them in the semi-finals. That was another chance for us to go to Wembley. Sadly, it didn't happen. We did go to Wembley, but sadly, we didn't make the final. But they went on to beat Man City. So we always said we were third in that season as well in the FA Cup. But great experience, and like you said, to be part of it, of a club to get to the FA Cup final. To do the song, I don't think it was, if you remember the song, it was cringe. We had an FA Cup song. It was absolutely cringe, yeah. I wouldn't want to sing it for you, but
No, don't do that.
it was a great to be part of it. I mean, getting the suits and going out, and we bought how many? I think it was the highest FA Cup one team had bought for a long time. At that FA Cup final. So yeah, great experience, and proud to be part of it, and proud to get an FA Cup medal, even though it was a loser.
Yeah, Wisey was great at winding up the opposition. We've had a few players that could do that.
Yeah, him and Muscat were as bad as each other. And I had to understand Muscat. I was his understudy. I remember Archie Knox telling me that I have to copy and follow everything he does. And in his first game, he was sent off after 15 minutes. That was against Watford.
Alan, stand here, mate. Anyway, Harry Kane, they say, playing for Millwall, made him a man. It was quite a coup that Kenny got him in on loan from Spurs, along with Ryan Mason. For Harry, though, his stint at Millwall is his most memorable. I understand he and Ryan did get special treatment on the training ground. How did the special treatment come about, and what memories do you have of Harry during his time at Millwall?
Like you said, Kenny was brilliant at getting these youngsters in. We had a few of them. Glenn Johnson, we had Jamie O'Hara, Adam Smith, Ryan Fredericks. But we don't know as players who's coming in the building. And then obviously in the morning, there's two lads we hear they're from Tottenham. One's called Ryan Mason. He's been around the first team. One's called Harry Kane. He's been around the first team. And we didn't know much about them. Harry was a lot quieter than Ryan. Ryan was... He'd get more out of Ryan. Harry was just, he didn't say anything really, but we were a lot older lads. He'd come into a Mill environment. It was only when you went out on the pitch and you sort of, then Harry Kane spoke, not with his words, but with his actions. I mean, he's finishing and he's in training, and you could see he was one of them old school lads finishers who could just hit the same spot in the same corner every single time. I said it before, I think in my book, that he scored one of the greatest goals in training I've ever seen. But a lot of clubs were fearful. Like Mourinho would never let any of the Chelsea boys come to Millwall because of the older. They didn't want to get younger boys to get intimidated by the older lads, and that was his own philosophy. He didn't want that. Tottenham was different. Tottenham wanted them to go in and experience that changing room. The older lads, that environment, because it does make them. There was a no nonsense in our changing room. There was a respect, old school values, and Harry bought into that. And he did grow up. It did make him a man, because when you make a mistake, you get dug out, and that's how it is. If you ain't putting your shift in, you get dug out. And I don't think some clubs in the Prem wanted their boys to go in and experience that. Fair play to Tottenham. Harry Kane and Ryan Mason bought into it. They bought into the club, what the club's about, and it gave Harry some first team experience in a man's environment and playing with men. So he soon learned to grow up, because that was the Millwall way. You had to in that changing room with the big characters. But he was a very quiet lad, very down to earth, very humble lad. He'd score a goal in training where me and you, if we scored that goal, we'd run off and celebrate for 3 days. It was the norm to him. So really humble lad, and how quick he accelerated after that to go on and does what I don't think anyone would have seen or predicted, because he has gone on to be England's all-time top goal scorer and whatever else accolades he's achieved in the last few years.
Alan, so I want to take it back to present times. So how do you see the Lions getting on this season in the Championship? And more importantly, despite an FA Trophy tie for Bromley at home to Chippenham Town, will you still be keeping an eye out for the Lions versus Middlesbrough on Saturday?
I always try and keep an eye out for the Millwall. I mean, I've been following them, and obviously the new appointment, a young guy who's got a challenge, and he's inherited a squad that's not he, so he's trying to adapt and change. Look, he's any manager needs time, and he's had some good results. I've picked up. I think he had 4 clean sheets other than the cup game. 4 clean sheets, 1-3. And it just needs time. I think this year is about stabilising and trying to bring his own players in, and then build his philosophy and how he wants to play into the team. It's difficult when you take over from someone else and they're not your players, and you have to try and you need to win games of football. So I think it's a patient one with Joe Edwards, and at given time you'll start to see some young boys coming in from the clubs like Chelsea again. A bit similar to what Kenny done. I think we'll start to see some of these young boys come in and help. And then your own homegrown talent, which is important. I think Millwall needs that. They need that homegrown talent coming through. There hasn't been as many coming through of the previous years. But I think this year, once Millwall get to a point where they are safety, I think they can start to bring young players in and maybe give them a back end of a season to get a taste and feel of it. It's the only way they're going to learn is by throwing them in. That's how we learn. So I think if Millwall get to 50 points, hopefully soon, I think that'll be a safety for them, and I think there's no doubt they'll get that. And then maybe add some young players in there to get a feel of the den, a feel of experience away from home, and build the club and build some structure with that way. We've got an FA Trophy tie Saturday, like you said, Chippenham. It's an FA Trophy. For us, it's a cup we won a couple of years back when we beat Wrexham. And yeah, it's a cup game. We want to continue our momentum of winning. We're like a Millwall in the Championship. We're a small club in a big league. And like when Millwall went to the FA Cup final, and we're trying to achieve that this year by getting in the EFL. We're a small club, like you said, but we've got a great infrastructure, a great community. And everyone who don't go to Millwall on a Saturday seems to come to us, because I see so many Millwall fans there when Millwall are away. It's brilliant to see. They come and support us, and the boys that are there. If Chin's playing, or obviously Webby we got there, we've got a couple of other ex-Millwall players. So I think we've got that relationship together where a lot of the fans I see down there who can't get away games come and watch and support us.
That's great.
Alan, I know what you're saying about the Millwall fans travelling down to Bromley. I know that's if they can't go to the games, it's good, but I seem to remember that you held Kenny Jackett in high esteem as a manager, and he did, of course, do the foreword of your book, which is a great read, I'll have to say. He remembered a standout game that probably developed ahead of going onto the pitch, and you gave a radio interview about a certain Palace player. Can you pick up that story?
Yeah, that was... Kenny. Yeah, Kenny was I had many things with Kenny. I had more rows with Kenny than any other manager, but I hold him in more regard because we got on and we speak today. Kenny, we're quite close. But I'd be in his office every week. We'd be arguing or this and that. But I really, really respect the man, and I think he brought the best out of me and made me grow up and mature. But obviously, so after I'd done the book, I asked Kenny, and I thought he'd be the perfect person to do a foreword because he spent so long together, and he fair play to him, he did it. And he mentions the game against Palace. I mean, people still talk about it today. I think I got sucked into an interview where they were talking about Zaha worth 20 million quid, and we had Palace coming up, and obviously I've gave the radio a little bit of clickbait where I've said, look, there's no way he's worth 20 million quid, and they've blown it up. Every Palace fan's on me, and so I had to sort of go out there when we did play against them and sort of back myself to say he ain't worth 20 million quid. I think he ended up signing for 10 or 12 in the end. But look, it was a game that it was a difficult game. A game you're playing against a player of 20 million quid. I'm a lad at Millwall. It's fair to say he didn't get much of the ball, and he ended up switching sides in the end. But I did what I was good at. I was aggressive. I told him in the tunnel what I was going to do to him if he runs at me. I played it the old school way, and I think I come out on top on the night. And I think Kenny put that in the book. He said it was one of my best games. I had him in my pocket all game. And yeah, fair play to Zaha. Look, he's gone on and done great things. Fair play to him. But I think on that night, I proved my point. If he was worth 20, I'd have been worth 25 on the night.
Yeah, thanks for that memory, Alan. I remember it so clearly.
Alan, Stan here back again, mate. I was just going to ask you now. Since Joe Edwards has come in at Millwall, I mean, he's now suddenly started to change the style in which we now play. It's much more possession and passing and all that sort of thing. Now, at your level, where you're playing at, is that do a lot of teams play a passing game on that? I mean, I asked a question because the other week I was reading an interview from the new manager. He was then at MK Dons, and for 4 years prior to that, he was the manager at Gateshead. Yeah, that's right. And he was saying in there where he changed it up there, and possession, what it's all about, and all that sort of thing, which is fine. I've got no problem with that idea at all. But is that style prevalent down at your level as well now, or is it becoming prevalent, or has it already been prevalent, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think there is teams in our league. Like last year, Notts County were one of the best possession-based teams in our league, and they got promoted. Wrexham were the complete opposite. There was two. Wrexham couldn't be any more direct, couldn't be any more. They had a big long throw, big aggressive Parkinson team, and Notts County were the complete opposite. Ball possession, 600 passes, and both teams went up. So you've got to try and build it, and you've got to try and see what you've got in the squad and what your strengths are. We are a bit of both. We ain't one. We ain't the other. We're the right ball at the right time. And there is possession-based teams in our league. We play against teams every week that have 500-600 passes, but we're second in the league. And a lot of managers in our league want to get a job higher up, and so what they do is they design a way of playing that looks good on the eye. But for me, I want to win football games. That's no disrespect to them, but there is teams in our league that play and overplay and look good, but don't do anything. But they do get better jobs. Mike Williamson was different. He got Gateshead with a small squad, and he got them playing football with a small squad, small budget, and he deserved to get his move. But there is clubs in our league that just play a style of football that don't win games of football. And we beat teams that have 600 passes, and there's no point having 600 passes if you're not going anywhere with the ball.
No, absolutely right, mate. Absolutely right.
You've got to win football games. But there is a way of winning football games, but you've also got to know the strengths of your squad. We sign players that are resilient, robust, strong, but may not be as good on the ball. But in both boxes, I can tell you, they'll defend one box and they'll lead the other box. There's some good footballing teams in our league. Gateshead still play good football. Altrincham, they are a young side. They get a lot of loans from Newcastle, Manchester. They're a good footballing side, and they're in the playoffs. But predominantly, the league there is some teams that play and overplay, but we are a team we've got a bit of both. We can play it if we need to play. If you need to go direct, you need to go direct. I think you need to have both in your locker. I don't think you can have one. For me, as in my philosophy, I think if you've got a big man, get it up there and then play. If you haven't got a big man, you want to play through the thirds, then and that's your philosophy. So be it. But like I said to you, neither guarantees win. Neither guarantees wins. You've got to play what your strengths of your team is. If you haven't got them players or a goalkeeper behind, because that's a big part of anything to play football with. If you want to play football now, you need your goalkeeper to start attacks for you. And if you haven't got them ingredients in your team, there's no point in trying to make that work, because it will have the opposite effect. So I think Joel Edwards will bring that to the team eventually, and I think he'll add to that where he'll dominate possession. Again, you've got to be scoring goals, and
No, absolutely, mate, absolutely.
Thanks for that, Alan. You were known in your playing days. Obviously, you don't do it anymore. I'd hope not. But for crunching tackles, have you got a favourite one?
Two for different reasons, but I'd probably say, probably Zigic one. I did get a straight red. It was high, and I think it was. I'd say that was probably a tackle that had probably gone too far on, but I don't think all the other ones were red cards, to be honest with you. Maybe yellows.
Really? Well, maybe then, but you certainly wouldn't get away with it now. Great to speak with you again, Alan. It's been a pleasure to have you join us as a guest and to learn a little bit more about your time at the Den. We look forward to hearing from you once again in the not too distant future. Bye for now, Alan.
Brilliant, guys, and good luck the weekend Saturday. I'll be looking out for you. Great to catch up.
Cheers then, Alan.
Thanks, Alan.
Take care. Bye.
We'll take a break there and hear about the matchday programme by Bethany Mantler.
Hi, Bethany here. Want a matchday programme? You'll find them with sellers outside the ground by the gates at Zampa Road, Stockholm Road and Senegal Road. They cost £1 and the sellers ask if you can have the right money, as change will be difficult. If you want to get a message, photos of special events, memorials, or just ones for good luck to be included, email smprogram@protonmail.com. That is smprogramme@protonmail.com. It's a great read.
I'm your host, Myles Thornton, and with me I have the Millwall Lionesses talking team of Bethany, Dave and Stan. Keep up the great work, Pat and team. Let's hear now from Ellis Barr. 12 years old this week, Ellis. Many happy returns from the Millwall Lionesses talking team and listeners. Keep us posted on what you're up to.
Hello, Ellis here, and I'm glad to be back talking about Millwall. I know many have watched my videos, so you will all know that I don't wear splints as much anymore. Thanks for your support along the way. It is now time to hear what all the Millwall teams are up to. Come on, Millwall!
Thanks as always, Ellis. I caught up with Paul Loading, Millwall Romans and Pride General Manager. Let's hear what Paul has to say.
Hello everybody, it's Paul Loading over at the Millwall Romans with a quick update. Firstly, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everyone had a good Christmas and New Year. And it's great to see Millwall getting some points over the time off. I actually managed to get down to the Millwall QPR game. Good to see some 3 points coming in on that game as well. So yeah, good stuff. Obviously a bit unlucky with the cup, but that's just the way it goes. Over to the Romans. Romans were back in action on Sunday at home to Titans 2 Brewers. We played these earlier on in the season on grass over at their pitch in West London. We didn't play particularly well and only took a point out of the game. So we definitely wanted a bit more revenge. After our result in mid-December against Charlton, we were certainly up for the game. Always a little bit worrying that first one back. People are a bit unfit. We haven't seen each other for a couple of weeks. So we set up slightly differently now. We're playing 4 at the back, 4-3-3 with playing a little bit more direct. But we kicked off the game, started really, really well. Knocked the ball around nice. I think Titans sort of run out of ideas of what to do. They couldn't really get past our back line. We kept everything at bay. But it was overall a very good day, very good performance from Romans, and we won 5-0. Both teams back in action this Sunday. Romans are away, heading over to the dreaded Hackney Marshes against Soho FC. We played Soho FC the first game of the season with a very, very controversial goal from Soho. We'll be definitely after the 3 points from that one. That's 2 p.m. at Hackney Marshes on Sunday. Pride also back in action this week. Pride having a great season so far. Really, really playing well. Great, some really, really good football. They are at home against Barnstormers. I think that's a 2 o'clock kickoff. For just very quickly as well, just adding our congratulations to the Lionesses. We kicked off early on Sunday at 10 o'clock as they were coming in against Sutton. that is a really, really good result from them, and we wish them well in the cup. It's always good to have a nice cup run. So well done to the Lionesses, and good luck in the next round. In terms of this weekend, Millwall Middlesbrough, I think I'm going to say let's do a 1-0 win to Millwall. Let's keep them points rolling in.
Jeff Burnige filed a report for Maritime Radio following Millwall Lionesses' sensational comeback at home to Sutton United. How did they get on, Jeff?
But on Maritime Radio, so Millwall Lionesses returned to action at St Paul's Sports Ground in Rotherhithe yesterday afternoon to host a London derby with Sutton United women in the League Cup. Could the Lionesses better the draw that they had against Sutton in the league at Gander Green Lane back in August? Well, Jeff Burnige tells us more.
Millwall Lionesses returned to form with a comeback 6-2 win against local rivals Sutton United after going 2-0 down within 23 minutes, and this took them into the quarter-final of the London and South East Regional League Cup. Joint managers Alex Russell and Adam Rowland welcomed back Poppy Payne and Chloe Burr, only to lose goalkeeper Chrissy Wiggins to illness over the weekend. They promoted Victoria Gamitarek from the under-18s to replace her, and also called up another under-18 in Clemmy Young, who took her place for her debut on the bench. Holly Talbot-Smith opened the scoring for Sutton on 10 minutes, and Chloe Fowler made it 2 with a superb free kick into the top corner on 23. Millwall were really poor in the first half, but they brought on Maisie Garwood and Steph Patchy, which made a difference in midfield. Shannon Drew reduced the arrears before the interval. Russell and Rowland reminded the team of their responsibilities. Different story. Garwood equalised things from a penalty and then scored a superb header from a Shannon Drew corner to complete the turnaround. Maisie Joyce also scored with a header from a Drew corner, and that made it 4-2 before Garwood completed her hat-trick with our 5th goal. Young, who had come on and made a huge difference with her impressive work rate, which really terrorised at times the Sutton defence, crowned a superb debut with the 6th goal from a cross by her under-18 compatriot Ellen Napper. I was able to speak to frozen Alex Russell after the game. Well, again, when you're 2 down and you win 6-2, Alex, what were your thoughts on the game?
A bit of a slow start. It took us a little while to grow into the game, but everything that we sort of proposed to the girls at half time, all of the questions and demands on them, they've come out and they've prospered and they've done well and scored 6 goals. So, one way of looking at it, it's a poor start, but the other way is that we've gone out and scored 6 goals.
Anybody in particular pleased you today? You had a debut for one of your youngsters?
Yeah, we had a debut for Clemmy. We also brought Maya up, but was unable to get her registered, but she still joined in with a warm-up and was in and involved, which is excellent. But Clemmy was genuinely superb. I'm not even just saying that because she scored. She came on, changed the game, and I think that it's icing on the cake for her to get a goal, a good reward for her.
Thanks, Alex.
Cheers, Jeff.
Just to add to that report by Jeff, fantastic report. The Lionesses will face Dartford in the next round of the London and South East Regional League Cup. That will be the quarter-finals away to Dartford on the 4th of February. Next up for the Lions is Middlesbrough at home. They come into the game on the back of a win against former champions of Europe, Chelsea, in the Carabao Cup semi-final, first leg. And we're on the back of a 3-2 defeat, and some would say undeserved loss at home to the former Premier League champions Leicester City. What do we reckon, team? Bethany, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so I think we've done quite well in the league. We seem to have also almost found our feet a little bit. I think any game is tough at the moment, but I'm going to stay positive and go for a win, but I don't think it'll be an easy win, so I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to us.
Sounds great. Dave, how about you, mate?
Well, Middlesbrough run themselves into the ground against Chelsea in the win by the odd goal. Add to that, they're travelling south, and they've got a couple of injuries as well. But I know the Lions have got some injuries, but I'd say, as Bethany, it's going to be a tight game. I'll go for a 1-0 win to Millwall.
Fantastic. Stan, what about you, mate?
Well, it's a game I'm looking forward to. I mean, I have to say that and for a couple of reasons. One, because hopefully we're playing against a side that's managed by one of the up and coming managers, and they play the right way. Now, the way we've been playing that against Middlesbrough, that's going to be a good test for us, right? But we're at home, and I'm confident. And So I'm looking forward to the game, and I think we're going to win the game. It won't be easy because when you're playing against, a team managed by Michael Carrick, them games are never easy. But no, I'm confident, and I think if we carry on playing the way we have been, I think we're going to run out winners. So I'll go for the odd goal, so 1-0 or 2-1 or 3-2, something like that. No, I'm confident.
Yeah, sounds like a great game, Stan, that you're thinking of. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win. Personally, just because they will be very tired. They picked up 2 new injuries against Chelsea. Fair enough to them as well. Very good win. But I do think they'll be tired. I think they'll probably come here on the back foot. And I think we will win. I think if the atmosphere from the fans is anything like it was against Norwich, we will beat them. I'm going to go 1-0.
Hi, Harvey Brown here. I am proud of the Lions Food Hub, which is jointly owned by Kelly and Ellen Webster, and they have been supporting families within our community for over 2 years on Millwall match days. If you would like to donate to them, they have a match day donation hub at the SE16 bar at Coldblow Lane, end of the ground, where they accept any food or money and toiletry donations. If you can help, any donations will be received with thanks.
Our fan in the dugout was unable to join us for the show, but Eamon Barkley caught up with him earlier and asked him the questions.
Our second guest tonight has followed Millwall man and boy and was brought up and educated not far from the Old Kent Road, in a couple of directions actually. He is also a familiar name on Millwall Facebook group sites. But without further ado, I'm welcoming Des Boggins to our Millwall fan show. Hello, Des.
Hello, Eamon. Hello, everyone else.
Well, before I sort of go much further, it's great to have you on as a fan in the dugout, Des. Firstly, though, was becoming a Millwall supporter your destiny or an option?
I think it was probably my destiny. I mean, I was born in Kensington, but my mum and dad got a place down the Old Kent Road when I was about 6 months old. And I've lived on or just slightly off the Old Kent Road till I was 30 when I went and got married. But, so most of my mates supported Millwall. I played football on Saturday afternoons up until I was about 33. So I didn't really get to a lot of games. It was mainly, if it was an evening game, it was easy to get to. But, so most of my mates, my brothers and that, support Millwall, so it was a case of
family and friends. That's
exactly,
what it was. That was it. Yeah. That's fantastic. So, I mean, you supported Millwall much longer than the latest Den has been in existence.
God, blimey, yeah.
Yeah, and for now, it's 30 years at the Den this season. So, what match did you see at the Den during this period that sticks out most in your memory?
I don't know, really. There's so many of them. For me, when I go down the Den, it's more of a social event.
Right.
I've been going down there for so long. I spend quite a bit of time in the car park talking to people that I haven't seen, but the only time I ever seen them is at Saturday afternoons at Millwall,
Catch up.
So, and I go there most of the time with John Ryan. You remember John Ryan?
I know John Ryan very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I go there with John and his brother Tony, and so we usually see some buds, and you end up having a chat, don't you,
Yeah.
But my son-in-law grew up just round the corner.
Right.
And his parents still live down there, and his dad's a season ticket holder. So quite often I see him as well. So it's catch-up time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bit of fun.
But what match sticks out in your mind from that time over since we've been at the what they still call the new Den?
Yeah. Well, it is a new Den, isn't it, compared to the old one? God blimey, what matches stick out? I can't really put my finger on anyone in particular, It was great when we went down there and saw some players and thought, I'm never going to see this player. Like, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden they were on the pitch in front of you. You know, that was absolutely marvellous. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, you know, mainly the matches that stick out in their head was the ones from the old days.
Really? You don't remember any of those playoff semi-finals that we had down there?
Well, yeah. I mean, but you know, sort of like the playoffs was a bit more fun when you ended up going to Wembley, innit? Like, you know? That's
right.
That was that was special, like, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go on, mate. Sorry.
No worries. They've all been good for you. That's all it sounds like. Anyhow, Gary Rowett left us this season and Joe Edwards took up the role of coach with us. What is your opinion about our progress under our new coach, Joe Edwards?
Well, I suppose we haven't done too bad. I can't say that I was a brilliant fan of Gary Rowett, but what he did do, he put sort of a plan in place and made them adhere to it, like, you know, and, well, it proved effective, didn't it, like, you know what I mean? We started moving up the table.
Yeah.
We'd been a bit of a yo-yo club, haven't we, like, you know, for several years, up and down, which was, sometimes it was brilliant, and when you're going down, it wasn't quite so brilliant, like, you know.
No.
Yeah. I can't say I'm a Rowett fan, but he did a reasonably good job. I can only cross my fingers for the new guy, like, you know.
At last, a few results have come through, and 9 points on 3 wins on the spin is quite a good return. Long may it go.
Isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. So let's hope we can do the same when we face Middlesbrough tomorrow. So that'll be good.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always a difficult side, though, Middlesbrough.
Definitely.
Well, I went to an evening game when we played Middlesbrough about 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
And I was fortunate. I was with John Ryan and I was executive lounge. And you're standing there in a chat and a girl from the telly come on. She's a newsreader or something. She come walking in the door and everyone's sort of like a little bit of a buzz. Cool, have a look at her, like, you know. Turned out she was a Middlesbrough supporter, like, you know. Yeah. So, famous faces up there, like, you know.
Well, you do. Yeah, exactly, well worth going to the executive lounge, I can tell you.
It's brilliant, mate.
It is.
Yeah.
Right, players come and go, but some leave bigger impressions than others. Which player in the past is your favourite and why?
Well, I think that I always leant towards Big Kitch.
Right.
I mean, he was captain. He was a stalwart, wasn't he? Like, you know, there was something about him. He had an air about him, like, you know.
Yeah.
And I did bump into him a couple of times, and he was good enough to stand there and talk to you, like, you know. So, which was quite pleasant.
Yeah.
Dennis Wise was a great player, but I'm not sure I liked him very much. I mean, he had this sort of like bit of a hard man persona about him when he went to the Den, and I felt that sort of like the bad press was going to pick up on that, saying I did hear someone turn around and said an horrible little man going to an horrible little club, which sort of like quite upset me a bit. You know what I mean? But
definitely Kitch then.
Most definitely Kitch. Although, I mean, when Cascarino was there, Ted, it's sort of like, Kevin O'Callaghan was a great player, like, you know, and obviously, like, Erlock and that, like, you know, but great player back in his day.
He was.
Yeah.
And of the current crop, is there anyone that sticks out there for you? Hutchinson,
did like, and obviously Jed Wallace was a great player, like, you know, but you could tell that he was never going to be a permanent fixture down here, like, you know. He was too good. The clubs were going to come in for him, weren't they, like, you know?
Yeah, but Hutchinson's been consistent, hasn't he? And although he's had a few knocks and we've lost him for time, he does make a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bloody good player, like, you know. Great head on his shoulders, good header of the ball, like, you know. And Marshall the defence well, look, can I?
That's right. He does.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Someone said to me, they said, when you get this guy on tonight, you've got to ask him, about how his accent has evolved. Did it change from when he was in the top end of the Old Kent Road near Woolworth to when he was further down off the Old Kent Road down to Peckham? So I'm going to ask you that question. That was Stan that asked that. So
I must admit that sort of like when I was younger, the first time I ever went to Spain, I met a load of blokes from up north, and they used to keep on telling me, "Here, say this, say that. How do you say this in rhyming slang? How do you say that?" Like, you know, that was quite amusing. Like, you know, and I think that when I used to go, when I was quite younger, say about 20, go down the pub at the Sunday lunchtime.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a game going on with all the lads. You had to speak to each other in rhyming slang. Stroll on. The things that someone come up with, like, you know what I mean? You're pissing yourself laughing, like, you know.
I could imagine.
Yeah, one of the blokes turned around and he was just going to talk. He said, "I'm just going for an angry jab." I said, "Do you mean a Napoleon trap?"
Yeah.
It's a bit of fun, isn't it?
It is. It's a bit of fun. Anyhow, Des, thanks for coming on and let us know about you and your thoughts on our team. But before we say goodbye, can you give us a prediction for Millwall versus Middlesbrough this Saturday?
Well, I'd like to say that we're going to nick it. We could do with the 3 points at the moment, you know, for where we are. So it puts the pressure on everyone else, isn't it, like, you know. I fancy us that we're going to nick it, like, you know. But they're always a difficult side to play against, Middlesbrough, well marshalled.
So, the 1-0, well, we can take that all day long. There's a few others that said that. So, let's hope that it is the case and we get 3 points. Anyhow, thanks for that, Des. Thanks for that, Des, and hopefully we can get you back next season to share your thoughts once again. But until the next time, all the best to you and yours, and au revoir.
All right, mate. When I go down there tomorrow, I'll keep an eye out for you. See what I might see you going in or something, not gonna.
You might, or you might see me on the pitch at 2:15.
Yeah.
And I'll leave that thought with you.
All right. I look forward to it. Yeah, you were always big enough, so you're difficult to miss, Aidan.
Well, there you go. I suspect I'll be very much the same, even possibly a bit bigger. Anyway, there you go.
All right, mate.
All right.
Lovely speaking to you, Aidan.
Take care, Des. Bye.
All the best, mate.
Bye.
We'll take a break there and listen to Billy Mitchell telling us about the Millwall Community Trust.
So 2nd of March is our community day this year as we play Watford at the Den. It's a great day to showcase the work that Millwall Community Trust do. So I hope to see you all at the Den then. Bye.
I'm your host, Myles Thornton, and with me I have the Millwall Lionesses talking team of Bethany, Dave and Stan. We will update you on what will be happening on Millwall's Community Day as the information builds. In the meantime, put the 2nd of March when we play Watford in your diary and be prepared for an early arrival at the Den. We're all looking forward to the next home game, but in the meantime, here are a few matters of interest for Millwall fans.
Millwall host Preston North End in the Bet Championship Saturday the 27th of January, and the match will see the club hold its annual Memorial Day. The day will see the Lions honour all supporters sadly lost in 2023 by way of a minute's applause as their names are shown on the stadium's big screen before the action gets underway. The list of names will also be available to view in Millwall's online digital match pack and on the Lions official X account at Millwall FC on the day. If you have a Millwall supporting friend or relative who sadly passed away in 2023, the club wants to hear from you. Please send your loved ones' names by email, clearly marking the subject line as Memorial Day, to slo@millwallplc.com by Wednesday the 24th of January. I'll say the email address again. That's slo@millwallplc.com.
Next week, Myles will host our team again with the long-time no-see Gary, Ted and Stan, along with a couple of guests. Additionally, if you have not heard the No One Likes Us special, featuring some of the heroes of 50 years ago, talking about an outstanding FA Cup win at Everton, which Jeff Burnige hosts with a panel of Brian King, Steve Brown and Dennis Burnett, who were members of that team. Be sure to give it a listen. It has had great plaudits. Also, don't forget Millwall Lionesses are back in league action on Sunday the 14th of January at 1:30pm against Ebbsfleet United at the St Paul's Sports Ground, Rotherhithe. Get down there and give our Lionesses the backing they deserve.
Millwall's digital match pack is available for sponsorship in 2023-2024. The match pack is delivered to the inbox of every single supporter who has brought a ticket for a home fixture on the morning of the game, and is packed full of exclusive interviews and features, as well as the latest thoughts from the Lions head coach, Joe Edwards. This season's sponsor the match pack and gain exclusive benefits such as a framed and signed copy of your issue, the chance to meet 2 Millwall players and have your photo taken with them, plus much more. The average click rate for Millwall's match pack stands at 12.14%, which is much higher than when compared to the UK average of 1.6% in 2023. The highest click rate came from the Lions Sky Bet Championship fixture against Bristol City, with 20.23%, meaning your brand could be promoted to thousands of match-going fans. For more information such as pricing and availability, contact the club's commercial team, whose details are on the Millwall website.
Don't forget you'll be able to listen to the No One Likes Us Talking team, bring reports from our games both home and away for both the Lions and Lionesses, and also updates on Millwall community matters too, on Maritime Radio, broadcasting on 96.5 FM. Additionally, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, social media sites, and all popular podcast sites. That's it from me. Thanks, Bethany.
Thanks, Myles.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Myles.
And thanks, Stan.
Yeah, thanks, Myles.
And thank you for listening. Finally, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets out there. Good night.
Sponsored by G&M Motors of Gravesend, Honda dealers and much more. Thank you.